Today I'm going to show you how to build a friction-driven scooter or bike or whatever you want. Flying car. Well, let me just go get my jetpack real quick and we'll get started. No, I'm kidding. I'll show you my chainsaw scooter. Okay, so here's the chainsaw scooter that I've built. It's not no jetpack, but she gets her done. Okay, so what we did is we took a scooter and put a chainsaw on it. Holy crap, wow, now you got everybody's attention. Sweet. Okay, so what makes this go is the drive shaft right here, and that's right tight on the tire, so it spins it. Okay, so on most chainsaws, to mount this sucker is just where the bar screws are and where that safety lever is. That's strong plastic, so that holds onto it. Okay, so that's how you can mount a chainsaw. But before that, you have to get the gear ratio right. Okay, since chainsaws have no power to them at all, unless you have a 75cc steel or Husqvarna saw, then you're good. But between a 30cc and a 40cc chainsaw, you're looking at a 1:10 to 1:13 gear ratio. So how you do that is you take this tire right here. This is 11.5 in diameter, okay? The white one right here, you can't miss it. And then you divide that into, I want to go fast, so I divided it into, what did I do? 10. Okay, so I did 11.5 divided by 10. It came up to about 1 1/64 or something like that. So I said, okay, let me put 10.8 into it. So what I did is I did a 1 to 10.8. So that gave me that gear ratio. So now what that means is if this tire goes around once, then this will spin 10.8 times. So that's a good gear ratio for this if you want to go about 20 to 25 miles per hour. And then that's basically it for the gear ratio. So like I said, between 10 and 13, 14 gear ratio. Okay, another thing is you don't want your chainsaw vertical, okay? You want it somewhat at an angle so the carburetor isn't screwed up. Okay? Now mine's at a pretty bad angle, but you know what? I adjust the carb right, so that's okay. So on these things you have to adjust the carburetor. Now these chainsaws aren't meant for a 140, 150 pound kid like you and me, okay? These are meant for cutting wood and cutting grass. Real big load, huh? Yep, that's why you have to adjust the carburetor. So all we did for the drive shaft is we took a Taiwan socket, that crappy stuff. Yep, can't use no Craftsman or Snap-on because that's high quality stuff. Gotta use Taiwan, baby. Okay, so we just took a socket, welded that onto the drive shaft straight, and welded a tiny bit of grip on there. You don't want too much or it screws up the tire too fast. It just wears it down. Okay, so that's basically it for that. Now you're working on your throttle. Now don't go and buy a $30 brake lever for a dirt bike, okay? Just use the regular brake lever. You're good. Use the brake cable. If that's not long enough, buy a new one, about $6. Now all you need is a weed eater custom throttle cable. Okay, so we don't have one, so I'm going to give you an example. Say the brown is the black coating over it, and the red is the wire. You want to get that black coating off, so you're just down to the wire, okay? Throw it around the ground. And then what you want to do is get it to the right length, and just bolt it to the brake cable, and then you're fine. And there's your throttle. Doesn't take rocket science to figure that out. So after you figure out the gear ratio and how big that drive shaft has to be and everything can't hit the tire, then you're ready to mount. Put that throttle cable on, take her out for a spin, take that high adjustment screw and put it out about I'd say about 2 clicks to get your start, or 1.5 to get you started, and then go out from there, maybe 1. It depends how much you weigh. The more out, the more you weigh. Okay, so here's my weed whacker scooter, okay? Now, this is 13 to 1 since it's less powerful than that, okay? So with an 18cc to about a 25cc, you're looking at between 12 and about 16 to 1 ratio. Okay, so just use the same technique as I told you there to find out a weed eater or what other kind of machine you have. Now, if you have the weed eaters that have the tiny clutches like that on the end, use the clutch, man. Use that clutch, because then you can it'll keep running while you stopped. I didn't have a clutch on that because that's a really cheap model. If you get like an Echo or something more high quality, then use the clutch. Same with the chainsaw. If you can find, the only thing is chainsaw clutches are about 3 inches in diameter, so you need about what, a 30 inch diameter for this thing to work. So here's the closest thing I have to a jetpack. Okay, it's called the Redneck chopper. Pretty redneck, huh? It's got 4-foot long forks on it and about 2-foot high handlebars with about a 6-foot long transmission, as I call it. That just puts it in drive and neutral. Bring it up and bring it down. Okay, so I basically took the friction driven. There's a drive shaft right down there. Weld a little bit to get a grip. And the gear ratio on this is 1 in a million. I don't know what it is. It's super good. Not for speed, but for uphill. With that thing, I can go up about a 90-degree wall. That's how good the gear ratio is. The only thing is, I'm having a problem with it. So that's too bad for that thing, 'cause it's cool. Okay, so I hope I helped you figure out how to mount a chainsaw, weed eater, snowblower, even leaf blower onto your bike, scooter, or GoPed. In the words of the Trailer Park Boys, it doesn't take rocket appliances to figure this stuff out. I mean, just use denial and error. Worst case Ontario is you don't figure it out, right? And with the prices declining, I mean, it's all about supply and command. So we'll see you guys.